Welcome, Trauma Rock Stars. I want to introduce you to Jimmy Phipps. We have actually not formally met, but we have very close friends in common over the years. But he is a recovered addict. He's a trainer. He's a nutritionist. He's a coach. He's a motivational speaker, as you will slowly find out. And he's been through quite a bit in his life, and he's got tons of wisdom and great tips for people who are struggling and what worked for him. And this is why we're doing this, because we want to hear from everybody what's worked, what hasn't worked, and things like that. So, Jim, welcome to Trauma Rockstars. I'm so excited that you're here. I've been looking forward to this interview for a couple of weeks now.
Awesome.
Let's go back to the basics. Back in the day when it was typical surfer town, California, and sounds like you had a great childhood growing up with your brother and stuff like that. So why don't you go back and just start back then? Because I know I've got quite a bit of questions for you about how Jim was as a little boy.
So it's interesting. So through my work of finding myself, it's a lot of this stuff is hindsight. Going back and going hindsight and go, this is how I felt and emotions I carried that I didn't really understand back then. But let me just start by saying, yes, growing up in California was amazing. I am forever grateful. I buried my father. So one thing I did tell him is thank you for that upbringing. So like you said, 70s and 80s were good. Born in 64, started surfing at 9. So I was surfing Malibu Beach at 9 years old. Tennis, golf, baseball, playing outside, skateboards, the whole race motorcycles, race bicycles, everything. My dad did very well. We're not super rich, but we did well enough to have a very good upbringing. I'm forever grateful. So Calabasas Country Club, tennis, the golf. My dad was a semi-pro golfer, so we played a lot of golf. So I say that just like this on the outside, what it looked like. Amazing. Boy Scouts, the whole thing, the whole growing up as a kid. My very first autograph was a Los Angeles Laker. His name was Happy Harrison. We were at Marina Del Rey, and I was 76. So I was 11 years old, and he was sitting on a bench. My dad said, go get that guy's autograph. It's a Laker, and I became a huge Laker fan. So just that whole upbringing, loved it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I felt so uncomfortable in life, even though I had this great upbringing. And that's what the confusion was. I didn't understand why I responded, reacted the way I did I always say I never got the memo about life. I didn't understand how it was supposed to be. And I had an understanding now, like I have an older brother, 2.5 years older, and we both have the same addiction, not knowing we had that addiction and just going through life, skateboarding with the kids. I got in a bunch of fights as a young kid, super skinny kid, demanded respect. I had a very angry child. And I blamed it on my father because my father was like that, along with his brother, my uncle. And again, a lot of this stuff is hindsight, so I'm looking back. But trying to identify those emotions then was, I was just uncomfortable. I masked a lot. I covered up through, understand as a coping skill. It was a way to feel powerful, but I was so uncomfortable. It was like this growing up. And my brother teased me a lot, blah, blah, blah.
Well, he was
the older brother.
That's
nothing unusual, right? Me all the time, but I would rage a lot.
I was going to ask you because I watched something you said recently, and you said you were a rager kid. And okay, so you had this to people from the outside looking in, this awesome California growing up life.
People wish they had that up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but from the outside looking in, everybody pictures what it's like for a kid growing up in LA, why?
And it was great.
But where do you think the anger, like when do you think that started? At what age?
Oh man, as far back as I can remember. Really, like as a very young kid, I just hit hard enough. So I would use my knees and I would just kick and I would just be crazy. So my parents both in martial arts to try to curb some of that.
Yeah.
And all it did is made me want to kick kids more. You know what I mean? It's funny. They weren't kind of them. But like I said, a great upbringing is very even hard for me to pinpoint when that happened. I just know, I'll go into the drinking thing. I started drinking at age like 12 or 13. But But I just remember very uncomfortable. And my mom always thought I was a gifted kid. And I just felt, I didn't feel that way at all.
Mm-hmm.
I was very uncomfortable. Like you put that saying, you put me in a room of 100 people, I'd feel completely alone. I completely felt different. Tell me great things about me. And the one person would say something negative and I would just focus on, it's called the obsession. I had this obsession as an addict. I didn't know any of that.
Right, of course.
But I had this obsession. So I had this selfish and self-centeredness behavior, this fixed mindset. You probably understand that fixed mindset, not knowing I had a fixed mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And what that is that my brother and I had some, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Would try to do something, and if I was challenged or I hit a roadblock or an obstacle, which is obviously part of life, I would revert back. I suck. I'm no good. I'm terrible. It's always going to be this way. And there's that saying, if I treated others like I treated myself, I would have no friends. And that's how I was. I would just beat myself up. And I get that, unfortunately, a lot of that from my father. My father was verbally abusive.
I was going to ask you. So I'm thinking of a couple things here, not to interrupt you, but
no, please.
The generational carryover, which we all have it, and break the mold. You're trying to break the mold, but also, is there something? Because I used to live in LA. So is there something? And I don't know 70s and 80s because I wasn't in LA then. I was in LA in the 90s, but. Was there something about the vibe in LA? Because everybody's always trying to one up somebody, be better than somebody. Do you think that had something to do with it?
No, I think, look,
Okay.
beach all the time.
Yeah.
I come home, jump in the pool at a basketball court. I don't remember that. Now, I can say that's how it was, hindsight going, everybody was better than me. I just felt, I felt completely different and alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this uncomfortable feeling inside me that was just part of my life. And I understand as a very self-centered being. And selfishness is like in itself. Like it is like there's selfishness. So selfishness, it's like saying there's a piece of pie left at the party, one piece of pie left. And the selfish person might think about somebody else and go, I wonder if anybody wants this. Now I'm going to take it anyways. That's selfishness. Self-centeredness, I don't even think about anybody. I want to get mine. Mm-hmm. What is mine? And I have that as a very young kid.
Okay.
Brother and I both were very spoiled rotten. My dad gave us stuff.
Yeah.
And I tell you stories of Christmases where I would rip through everything looking for that one gift. And we would be miserable unless we got that one gift. Mm. And then it wasn't enough. So we'd go up to the Troy's house, which they had more money than us.
Yeah.
And I would want to go find out what they had. And then I felt less than because they had more things.
Right.
Had a great life and still felt that way.
Yeah. And as a kid, you can't think, well, this is why I'm thinking this way, because you don't have the tools to.
None of it.
You're not even saying, why am I feeling this way as a kid?
Oh, no.
People were talking about emotions.
I cried a lot. I was I had a lot of emotion, and my father would knock me down for that.
Yeah.
Back, I'm like, that is one of my gifts, you know what I mean?
Right,
but I don't know that. So I have changed the DNA in my life for sure.
That's incredible.
Coming from where I came from, but having this great lifestyle and creating more, here's another one, more of a story than there really was. Like the event that happens, and then there's the story we create in our heads as young kids. No kid, I just got chills. No kid, this is why I'm passionate about children and helping people, should feel any kind of trauma. They can't emotionally deal with it.
They can't handle it.
So what they do, what's the coping skill? Shove it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, it's been years and years and years, and I've still learned more about my childhood.
Interesting.
Crazy.
It's inner child work, right?
Oh, yeah. And no kid they're just emotionally equipped to do it. As adults, we can. So you have this father who, God bless him, he gave us a lot. But he also was very, there wasn't a lot of communication. There wasn't a lot of I love yous. There wasn't really any of that. There was go upstairs and wait, and I'm going to come up and paddle you. Mm-hmm. So my brother and I would put on every piece of underwear we could. to pat it as much and have to sit in a room and wait for my father to come up and paddle us.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if other kids that was happening. I just know the generation, that's the generation.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even know what I did wrong at times. And it was just, you're in trouble. And unfortunately, that's the way it was. Like, things like, ripping the hammer out of my hand. My dad had some skills and he was a general contractor. And he wanted us to learn how to hammer. And if I didn't do it right in the first 5 minutes, he would just be done with it. He just didn't have that, he had. I feel my father had the isms without the alcohol stuff, the addiction of alcohol and drugs. But we can talk about that further, but what that looks like. Right. And that's that fixed mindset, obsessive behavior, like alcoholism is defined as like, we are defiant, we're in denial, and we're delusional. We create something not real, but it's necessary for us to feel comfortable in life. How sad is that? Never felt comfortable. And that's hindsight. So I would mask it when I started dancing. That was a mask. I wanted to be John Travolta. I saw Staying Alive. And I'm like, I want to be that guy. And I wanted to dance. And I became a dancer. I had 15 years. But I know now that it was masking a lot. It was masking the true person who I was, because I didn't like who I truly was. Hence, you add alcohol and drugs was a solution to my problem, because it took away those feelings and emotions and made me feel okay.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
You into this craft, you were a dancer, you from Enter the Night,
My last show.
Yeah. And you were really good at it. So why explain to me how you found a craft that you were really good at. You did it. You were a professional dancer.
Blessed.
Las Vegas Strip for years.
Straight male dancers don't.
Number one show. Why is something that you were so good at? Why is that a mask?
Good.
I'm just curious because
it's not start out that way, I should say. So it's a mask because of how I felt. I could be whoever I wanted to be on stage.
Yeah.
So I believe, again, hindsight, arrogance, ego, all that stuff comes into play. And I had a friend of mine, he was in my wedding. When he met me prior to that, 15 years ago, he was like, I was an arrogant, cocky piece of crap. Thought I was cover up.
So it was you playing a role.
Yeah. So I could be whoever I was dancing. It wasn't like it was completely false. I'm going to dance so I could cover up this stuff.
Yeah.
But it was understanding now that it was a mask. And it was like, and I say that because when I entered the career, it was right when I was getting sober. And I was like, who am I? It was Jim Phipps, male model dancer. Like, everybody, I did all the gigs, blah, 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 blah. If you ask people that I worked with over the years, was Jimmy insecure? They say, no way.
Yeah.
But I was very insecure.
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable.
And you modeled for years. So
since I was 19.
Yeah. With ego, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. I know, because it's like, God, I was a disgusting person. I wasn't a bad person. I'm just saying that, but that is so, I understand the ego, we call it edging God out. It's like a show. I think I got this, and I need to do that to feel comfortable or to feel okay. Like I try to arrange everything on the outside to meet my needs that was going on the inside. That's what that is. And so ego was necessary and arrogance was necessary for me to feel comfortable and to navigate through life. This uncomfortable, jealousy, a lot of worry, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, all that stuff that comes with being an addict. But it didn't start out that way. Just so you know, talk about addiction. That didn't start out that way. I smoking pot and drinking at a young age.
So you said 12. You started drinking.
I drank my first beer that I remember at 12, and it was a Heineken. It wasn't. It was a good beer.
And when did you? Okay, so quick. What age did you start dancing professionally?
19.
Okay, so
I started dancing at 19. I was professional at 21.
Okay, so you started getting sober when you started dancing.
No, at the end of my career.
At the end, okay. So let's start. You had your first Heineken at 12.
Yeah, and my first joint at 16.
Okay.
So let me backtrack. Let me go back.
Yeah.
I pot with my babysitter. So this is going to go deep if you want, but
can go deep
later. So I smoked pot with my babysitter because I caught her doing rolling or whatever. And I remember what is that? She says, it makes you feel good. I said, I want some. At I don't know, 10. You know what I mean? And then I found out it was marijuana. I thought I'd lost because I was a runner at the time. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to run anymore. I was a very, very dramatic kid. Very dramatic. Anyway, so fixed
Well,
mindset.
you're very eloquent when you speak. So I can imagine
Thank
the
you.
12-year-old version of you.
It wasn't like that at all.
Okay.
So a fixed mindset, let me just clear. So a fixed mindset is someone who has some skill set maybe, and then they get challenged and then they feel like they will change. It's the way the DNA is. And that's in business, right? Like it's not all areas, but it was at the time for me. So I have learned, we can go into that later too, about how I learned growth mindset.
Yeah.
So there's a book called The Mindset, and I'm going to plug it because it's a really good book. Mindset, Carol Dweck. Great book. But it explains to me now I had been through my recovery, my progress. And so I say these types of books, these self-development or development books, very parallel of recovery, what that looks like. What it did, it expanded this understanding of what that really looks like for growth mindset and what fixed mindset. And then it taught me that my father had a very fixed mindset mind. He had all the other things that go with it, unfortunately. God bless him. But buried my father, that's a beautiful story.
Well, I want to make a note because I want to talk about that. I want to end with that. I think that would be nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story because it wraps everything up.
Yeah, but I want to go back. So when you were 12, you had your first joint or whatever at 16. What other drugs did you get into?
Cocaine.
Okay.
It was my primary drug at the end. I lived for cocaine.
That's what people did in Vegas back in those days,
Started in LA.
So were you look at it, you were doing it to self-soothe, or were you just...
I don't know any of that stuff. I just know that I wanted to feel different than I felt inside. Not knowing that wasn't my purpose. Let me feel better. Let me do this. I just wanted to party. I wanted to feel good. So a guy brought a little packet of cocaine. I could tell you where I was standing when he offered it to me in Ogden, Utah. I went to high school in Ogden, Utah. See, there's so much to my story, but I went to high school in Utah. That's when I first smoked pot. And then when I graduated, I went to Denver. Okay. And then I went back to LA. But I got introduced to cocaine, and it was literally like see how I rub my nose still? Every once in a while, it wasn't like all of a sudden I became this addict. I drank beer on occasion. I became a health nut at 19. I was being in Colorado, buying all healthy foods and working. I was very skinny growing up as a kid. I wrestled at a very, in high school at the lightest weight and, all kind of stuff. And then, so I got into that. And then there was a line you crossed, they call it that invisible line where you cross and you can't come back, which is now I can't stop. But let me go.
When did you identify that time? Or did it take you?
It took me a few years to identify that.
Okay.
Because I was, God, that show. So I was very periodic, meaning I didn't always do coke, but I was always and then sometimes I wanted to go to the drugs and get cocaine. So I did it very sociably for a bit, much shorter time than I thought. It caught me up. So this is going to get kind of long story short. I moved back to LA. I go back to LA. I was working for my father, and I went to LA to do a recruiting effort for my dad's business. And I wanted to stay, so I stayed. And that's when I saw Staying Alive, and I started dancing. So I'm living with my dad in Santa Monica, taking class. And I met the love of my life in dance class, the whole thing. And she was not. I tell you that because her brother was into drugs. So I got introduced to crack cocaine, and he lived above me in an apartment, and I was like, I know what you're doing. It was cool. And then I went into his apartment and I saw things I had never seen before, which is the crack smoking thing, which is people crawling on the floor and Bacardi dip in the pipe. It was disgusting to me for one day. And then the very next day he came and put that pipe in my mouth and I took it and I was off and running. That's what changed everything.
And what age was that?
21.
Okay. No, at the time when you did that, like this. Okay.
Very quickly, I got addicted to it. And so anybody that does it, it makes me cringe today. And I'm glad for that because it was so disgusting. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he lived above me. I'd hear him coming down the steps and I would hide. Like, I would be like, oh, don't knock on the door. Like, I'd say no to it. That's crazy. So, Yeah. I ended up smoking rock in Compton. That's where it took me. Yeah.
Wow.
Being very open.
Yeah, no.
So, and then what
For
happened
anybody
was,
that doesn't know Compton, I want to go to Compton.
you're not, now you probably could. It's not so bad.
Yeah.
But back in the 80s, I was white boy. Like, it was, I got
Yeah.
along with everybody. I just got to say, like, I'm good about adapting. That's
Yeah.
one of our traits. Like, we could adapt.
Mm.
And so and I say that because what happened was after that I was chasing that high through snorting cocaine, because somehow I got away from that. I smoked for like 6 months. And then I moved I was living in the Valley and I would drive all the way to LA, or I was living in LA, and then I moved to get out away from there, and I moved to the Valley. Then I went to LA a couple more times smoking it. And it gets disgusting. I don't want to go into the details, but it was ugly.
Yeah.
And seen some shit. And so, yeah, but that can be dark. And then I moved to the Valley, and then I already moved to Valley, and then I ended up getting away from it. And I moved into a guy's house who happened to be a coke dealer, and I didn't know it. And so now I got access, and Big Paul was Redondo Beach. Big Paul, you don't talk about Big Paul. He loved me. Big Paul, good fucking kid, that kind of thing. And so I was in it. And so I did that, and now I'm chasing that smoking rock high.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be periodic. So it wasn't always like I could up at times.
Mm-hmm.
Then I auditioned for a show in LA that was a tour called Spellbound. And it ended up in Vegas. And now I'm 23 years old, living in a ranch house with, I'm in a small 1-bedroom in LA. Now I'm in a ranch house with palm trees, pools, and showgirls, man.
Yeah.
And now I can kind of navigate so bad for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and it just, it was doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the dressing rooms and, all that, my show, but other shows. And we were there was like probably 9 guys in town. We all hung out, thought we were hot shit. And literally kidding. And it was not funny, but it was like, we all hung out. And not everybody did what I did. I could cover it up. Like I'd go in the modeling business. I could go to dinner with the pretty people, and then good night. And then I'm going to the dark seated bars and not to go too deep, but and I found my way. And I was in Tahoe. I got worse. So the whole thing. Here's another one called a geographic. I had to get out of LA. LA's the problem. And so now I'm going to Tahoe first. So what I'm like, Tahoe, perfect. Pine trees, lake, fresh air. And within a week, I'm finding the people necessary to do what I need to do to get it done.
Did you rock bottom?
A few times. So I'll tell you, so those are pretty powerful. Yeah, I was a continuous rock bottom. It felt like, me crying, like, what am I couldn't stop. And I was 30 years old one time, sitting at my house, renting a house, sitting at the house and crying because I could not do it. And there was quite a bit on a tray of, cocaine, and could not do it. So when I got sober at 32, so at 30, I'm direct. But what?
I'm just notes.
Yeah, please. What do I think? So here's one of Christmas of '95. My parents, I've leaving so much out, but my parents come in town. So '95, parents come in town Christmas. I've been in a house for a while.
Is this Vegas?
This is Vegas. So I'm in Vegas. I've been out of the house, away from family, blah, blah, blah. That's when we could talk about how I had to separate myself. Anyways, let me finish. So I'm ADHD. But so my parents are in town. My mom begs to see me. I'm on this runner. I'm on a 3-day runner. Like I'm out and about, begging me. So I meet her. I'm living at the lakes in a house. And I meet my mom at Blockbuster Video back in the day on the corner of Sahara and Fort Apache. And here's the thing, I had sunglasses on, and I was cocky, I was arrogant, I was rude, I was all that to my mom. So this is the pain. I get them because I'm not that person. That's what it does. And I say that to understand, that's a cover up. I'm dying inside. And my mom wants me to take the Christmas gift. I don't know how long I sat there with her, but I couldn't wait to leave because I had stuff back at the house.
Yeah.
So I'm living in this big house with a couple other people. I could hear them doing Christmas downstairs. And I'm locked up in my room. And I'm like, God, please take my life. I'm done. I begged God take my life, right?
Mm.
And there's a saying that we learn is there's 1,000 swear-offs, meaning I would mean it. I'm not doing this again. I swear to God, and mean it. But I could not do it with my own will. We have
Yeah.
free will and we have our willpower. Willpower
Yeah.
alone doesn't fix my problem. No way. I've tried it. That was a bottom. I get cleaned up a couple months. Now I get this option to go to Puerto Rico. I'm like, okay, I'm going to Puerto Rico. So I go to Puerto Rico. I'm in this show called Legends in Concert. We're doing the show. We have a lot of time in between. There's the other guy there that I knew about, and he's an Elvis Presley impersonator, and he's a lot of fun. And I heard all these stories. He's crazy, and he does parties like I do. And we end up now we're just out of our minds. We're like, without the our minds.
Yeah.
So we're there for 3 weeks. And the last day, he left me a big line of cocaine on my dresser. And he goes, you just do this when you wake up, you'll be fine. I can't even talk. I'm so high. This is disgusting.
Hmm.
So I come to from drinking off the bottle because I have to come down. And I went up to the line of cocaine and I brushed it away. And I said, I can't do this anymore. And that's the last time I did cocaine, May 7th, 1996.
Wow.
Like I had it, we call it, gives me chills.
I'm totally chills right now.
A moment of clarity. God gave me a moment of clarity. Like I did it. And it's like, I can live like, I was tired of being started. I just like, I can't do this. So long story short, so I go and I'm up a couple of months and I have this girlfriend and I'm trying to be sober and she takes me, we're going to this birthday party, mutual friend birthday party at a bar. So we go. So I'm in the bar and I'm smoking cigars because I need something with this cigar. So I'm smoking cigars. And she won't drink. And I was like, babe, go ahead. You can have a drink. I'm okay. Like I'm trying to control this. Okay. And then I got uncomfortable enough to go, I'm gonna leave. And then I went to my car and I went, oh, my cigar. And I walked back in the bar and she's at the bar that fast with their friends. And it got tunnel vision for me. Like I was angry that I could do that. I was like, I'll show you. So I went and grabbed a 6-pack of beer, went back to the house, and I'm drinking these beers. And she comes home yelling, screaming. And I leave the house and I go down to Charlie's Bar, Lake Mead in Buffalo. And that was my last drink. And I went in there and I had one more drink. And I don't know how, I do know, how did I not go to the dope man after 4 or 5 beers? That's usually my MO.
Yeah.
I went back to that. And let me back up. For the 2 months, I had a sponsor, but I never called him or anything. And then I went back and now I'm crying again. And I go see him the next day and he gets off of work and I'm crying because I drank. And he goes, he took me to it. I've been sober ever since, 29 years. So I'm 1996, June 30th. Crazy, right? Like, how does that happen? Another friend overdosed just recently. 2 days ago, died, overdose.
Ugh. Is this because you said you involved in a program? Is this it when he took you after the last drink? And
I had tried to do it in California. I missed a big part. So in LA, I'll tell you, God, I don't know how I forgot this. This is important. So in LA, I'm out of my mind, and I get introduced to AA, CA, Cocaine Anonymous, by a friend I used to party with. He's a Hong Kong American, Chinese American actor. So we used to pretty good, and he tricks me to meet him at the Cedar Sinai in Beverly Center, and goes at Cedar Sinai, not Beverly Center, Cedar Sinai, and takes me to this meeting. And the joke is, there's celebrities in there, and I think I belong. I think
ego, hence the ego.
Oh my God. Anyways, and I say that because he's apparently still sober since that time. So he would be 39 years sober.
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction. So now I'm in, and I went back to, I was doing the show at Legends, and a girl in the show, a couple of people, there was a guitar player here sober. And when they told me Jimmy's sober 10 years, I couldn't even wrap my head around that. Because he's a guitar player. Like, what do you mean he's sober? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't, there was dance through. There's a meeting at the Quality Air. It's called Quality Air at the Stairway Club, blah, blah, blah. And that's where I went. I was introduced to that program a while back. I had gone to some meetings, 6 months or whatever. I never had a sponsor, never did anything. Went on a tour, and I'm like, I'm getting drunk. That's basically what it is. I leave a lot of this out because it's so much. And so now I go back and I'm part of this group. So then we can talk about recovery and what that looks like and how it changed my life, and the understanding. So Go
The
ahead.
thing with you is, and I didn't know you before. You didn't
No,
know me. And I
first time
actually
you.
never, believe it or not, even though I worked in the music industry and was in the scene, I never got involved in drugs at all. I used to drink my face off, but I never got involved with drugs, which I don't know how I didn't, because I was suppressing
Yeah,
all this trauma for 40 years. I don't
yeah,
know how I didn't, but like I was so naive. I would meet these men, they'd be like, do you like to party? And I'm like, I love to party. All innocent, not what they were really asking me. And and I
good for
think that
you.
was like, even though I was around it all the time, I just never got involved. But and I it's like I said, I was saying I didn't back then, but now you seem so in touch with who you are, and you're constantly doing self-reflection and reading and educating yourself. And you said something that has really resonated with me, and I actually wrote it in my own journal. Well, you didn't say it to me, you said it on one of your videos, but you said you have to stay teachable.
Oh,
And that, Jim,
yeah.
I mean, when you said that, I was sitting down, because it's so true. Like, we're always, you this every day. I see
Every
journaling,
day.
I see you reading. Did it take you, and we're still evolving. Like, we still have things of our learn, but to where you got to this place where you, like, your aha moment, I guess, and your
So
recovery.
yeah, so it's yeah, this called that I had, but the aha moment's more like a gift of desperation. Like I was desperate. And so
Yes.
what happens is
It's
nobody, there's a
interesting you call that a gift. It's
gift
because
of the.
that is, I wrote that down too. That
So if
was
someone gets pulled over for an addict or alcoholic, let's say, and they think it's the worst thing in the world, right? And then they go to jail and they come out and they have this moment of clarity and they go in the program and they're like, thank God that happened. So I never had to do, I always, there's a lot of yets, meaning I haven't put a needle in my arm. I haven't done any of those things. I haven't technically really haven't lost a job. I still had a watch. I still had a car, a place to live. I didn't have those. That saying is like, thank God God didn't see me fit to live out of a cardboard box. I don't think I would survive. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Everybody's different. That you could get off that elevator any time, so to speak. But let me go back. So there's a gift of desperation that happens when you finally get to the place where I'm asking for help. Like I have no understanding what's going on with me. I don't know that why this willpower of mine that God gave me, I cannot stop.
Mhm.
Why can't I? And then there's the cycle. I'm weak. I'm no good. I suck. And then it's like, and that was
Yeah.
the cycle when you use it. It's like you feel like shit. You couldn't live up to what you think you could be, and then you got
Mhm.
to use again to cover up that pain. It's a right. Just cycle, cycle, cycle.
Yeah.
So finally, I just like no one wants to admit complete defeat. Who wants to admit that? Who wants to ask for help in that matter? Not really anybody, especially in alcohol. Denial, defiance, defiant, man. We're defiant.
And the environment that
And we
you
have an
were in.
environment. What you're saying about staying teachable, that's a learned thing for me. That's
Yeah.
so the program is all about getting to humility and being teachable. So if you come, so think about it, if I'm
You
self-centered,
said humility is not thinking less about yourself, but less about, or not thinking less about yourself, but less about
not thinking less of yourself, but less about your.
humility.
That's just one version of it. And it's
Yes.
also being very clear of who you are, like
Mhm.
this be realistic of who you are. We don't know who we are when we come in, or I didn't. So I say that because you have this self-centeredness, you have arrogance, ego, grandiosity, I go on, and all these crappy characteristics, not understanding how many I have. I just come, and you start there, trying to get to humility. That's a
Mhm.
long ways. And so ego has to be checked constantly for someone like me because it's so easy to revert back to the old ways when you're put into a corner, you get challenged in life or you feel uncomfortable. And now you're going to come back like this. Like that's that teenager boy. And I'm going to fix, I'm going to help, I'm going to save, I'm going to beat up, I'm going to do all these things. Then I have this inner child in me that's been so fucking damaged, excuse my French, so damaged.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to protect it. And then I have the adult who I'm trying to, so you talk about the change. I got to be the adult today. And that's not always easy. And
Right.
this is a lot of, it's not just like I went to
It's
a couple of courses and learned this. It's like,
no, no.
so when you first come in, you admit, so you have this full admission, like, okay, I'm alcoholic. I can't do this on my own will. So then you have this, okay, I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to learn. So it sets you up for life. So make a decision. Decision to what? To turn my life over. I can't run the show anymore. To what? I don't know. Whatever you want it to be. Just know it's not you. You know what I mean? Like I always said, it's not you. Call it God, call it Buddha, call it Jesus, whatever you want. The doorknob, something. So a lot of people put their will over to the group, and then God speaks to the group. I mean, so they have that group of drunks. God, God, drunks, and the time. So then you get us helps guide you through the book. I don't understand anything. And anytime I would freak out or I would get one emotion that would drive me crazy, I learned to call my sponsor and ask him and walk myself through this. That's how it started. How do I go from this meeting to the next meeting without losing my shit or drinking? Because that's how it was. Like I had to navigate through. And so the program teaches that. It teaches all the good to come from all those characteristics to peace, love, comfort. Now, chaos is comfortable because it's familiar to me. So when I'd get bored, I would call it, and it wasn't I was bored, I was starting to settle down. I didn't need all these things going on, these outside influences.
Yeah.
It's an inside job. So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I put something in my system, a mind-altering substance called alcohol, cocaine sped me up getting into the rooms, by the way. Like, it got me there faster. If I beer, I believe in the phenomenon of craving. So triggers something in me. I'm different than the normal person. And it triggers a craving. And when that happens, I can't stop. Then the obsession is so great that I can't, what's obsession? It trumps all other thoughts. I can't think outside the obsession or whatever it is. And usually, excuse me, my phone call. You know what I mean? And so that's what happens. So I have a mental issue. And I have this idea and I can't outthink the idea. And then I have to go put something in my body. So and then that craves the craving. And then that's what happens.
I think so many people are going to be able to relate to you for this because I think a lot of people have gone through this or are, depending on where they are in their journey. But I guess the one question I want to ask is, because this has got to be horrifying, trying to get from where you were to where that in between.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah.
And when you're a kid, you don't know who you are. You're a teenager, you don't know who you are. You're in your 20s, you still don't even really know who you are. And then you realize, like, I need to wake up. I've got to lose the ego. I need to start figuring out who I am. Was there a part of you that was like, I don't want to know who I really am? Or was there a part of you that was like, I know the person I can be, I need to get there? Like, did you have any clarity?
Good question. They're afraid of it. A lot of people, I would say 95% are afraid of finding out who I truly am.
That's normal.
Yes.
Okay.
It's called the hole in the donut. So it's called the hole in the donut, meaning we don't.
What's it called?
If I get rid of all these things, these character traits in me, who am I? I'm going to be empty.
What's it called? The hold what?
Hole in the donut.
The hole in the.
Am I like? You're not going to give up some of those things because they still serve a purpose for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you give up the hard ones or the ones that are really uncomfortable, and then these 50 different character defects. You know what I mean? And then you have to kind of chip it away. Do admit, and then you get to, that's the first humility act. You don't even know that's going on. So I go back to what I was saying about the decision making. I have learned to make decisions in a different way because of the program. Like I'm the kind of guy, so self-esteem, I couldn't make a decision because I didn't trust it. I didn't realize I didn't trust myself so much, but I didn't. And so I would stay on this decision forever without making this idea. And then if I made a decision, going back to what I was talking about, fixed mindset, I would hit a roadblock, an obstacle, or uncomfortable side, and then I'd go back, I suck, I'm no good, this is wrong, blah, 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 and I'd beat myself up.
Yeah, okay.
And I have learned to go, you make a decision, go with it for a while. And my buddy used to say, just make a decision, Jim. Just make a decision and go with it. And I learned a lot of that from Tom Bilyeu, from my Impact Theory. Tom Bilyeu, book.
When you make a decision, like you said, your friends, you make that decision. how does somebody struggling stay focused? Like how, because you keep
People,
yourself up.
like if I have to continuously be turn it over, because
Okay.
it's easy to go, I got the reins on this, God.
Yeah.
There's a saying, I don't need God to sweep the kitchen floor, but why not take him with you? Like, it's just like, it's so much easier. Like, here's a good analogy. I go in light switch and I turn the light on. I don't know how that electricity works. I just know I trust and dependent on that light. The light goes on, gives me independence. Same thing with God. I'm going to tap into that power I don't fully understand. I have to trust what these other people have done in their life, the guides that are in front of me, and then I'm going to learn to trust that process. It's hard, but I never had a problem with God. I just didn't understand quality of prayer or what that looks like, because I just pray for myself. God, get me on this one or whatever, and put these terms on it, time frames, terms, or whatever. That's not mine. I'm responsible for the actions I take. I'm not responsible for the results that it gives me. I'm not in the results business.
Interesting.
I'm not in the results business. When I'm in the results business, I'm trying to control the outcomes.
Okay.
I'm just doing, these are the things that one day at a time is a philosophy. I talked about that. And it serves me still to this day, all these years, how important that is.
Okay, say that again. That was powerful. You're not in the
I'm in the
results
action business. I'm not in the outcome business.
So, and that's letting go of the control.
So a long time ago, early on, I said to me, Jim, you just do the footwork. The result's up to God.
Or whoever.
I don't, we don't care.
Doesn't matter.
That's what's so beautiful. We don't care. We don't care from how much math. None of that matters.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you I'm going to teach you what I learned to help you. And so then we can go into that with that, joy is from service. Joy is from, you know what I mean? Happiness comes and goes.
Yeah.
And so many people hold on to that. I'm happy, I'm not happy, or I'm happy, or I'm not. Help somebody. Go do something. Go volunteer. It's Tony Robbins, living is given and given is living. Like, he talks about that. I go off on these tangents because I'm passionate about it. But it's like, I have learned a different way, broke the DNA from my upbringing. I am blessed that I found something that's helped me. And I understand that. I have to be in gratitude. I have to pray. I got to make my bed. I don't know what works or keeps me sober, so to speak. So I do all of that shit.
Yeah.
And for me, the one tool really I've probably been doing consistently for probably 14 years minimum is, I don't mean every day, but is, dear God, thank you for this moment.
Yeah, your writings on your socials, and I just recently got in the past 6 months. I've never really been a journaler, but I've learned some tools that have helped me, and it's magic putting this down here.
The very first thing I ever wrote, my sponsor goes, write something. Now, what do I write? Now, I don't know all these things he's telling me to do. I'm like, I just want to stop doing. What does this have to do with this over here takes care of this? Yeah. I didn't understand it. I just did what he said because I was so desperate. And so what I understand, the first thing I ever wrote was, I'm scared. Very first thing I wrote.
Perfect.
I don't know what I'm scared of.
That's all you need.
Let me go back to the decision. So many of my decisions were based out of fear. Fear of not looking good, fear of something, fear of, making the wrong, whatever it may be, fear.
And you said insecurity.
I couldn't make a decision, but I make those decisions based on that, then they're probably not going to work out so great.
Yeah.
But if I base it out of a belief in myself, and they tell me, believe that we believe. I didn't have any self-worth, but Jim Phipps, male model dancer, doing my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, moving forward, like, then you get in your life, right? You get this, you create. I love the saying, I'm going to turn my thoughts and my actions over to the care of a higher power. So if I think of God and then take an action towards it, now the key is to do it throughout the day. Yeah. Because you get going. It's easy to do it in the morning. And then I added meditation. Then I added, more self-development books, started reading outside spiritual books. And this is the practice one day at a time of being in the moment. Now, there's times where it's really cool And then there's times where it's life-saving.
Yeah.
Like I'd be so uncomfortable. I'd be gripping the chair. Okay, I'm okay. I'm going to be just like, okay, just the next 10 minutes. That's how, yeah, the next 10 minutes. What am I doing? How could it? And it's always about getting out of ourselves.
Yeah.
It's an inside job. No car, no amount of money, none of this going to fix ultimately what's going on with me.
What would you say that's going to be listening to this, really struggling and just doesn't know where to begin? Maybe they've tried meetings, maybe, I don't think wants addict,
Nobody wants to be.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
So
anything but. Like,
yeah.
I felt like coming as a cocaine is cooler than being an alcoholic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't realize that, but I'm like, I'm a drug addict. It was kind of cool. But so it's hard because I can't, the first thing, just, you got to ask for help. But the biggest thing for me is like, you got to get out of that ego. You got to get rid of that. Like,
okay.
I talk about people don't share or up if they're shame, remorse, guilt, or arrogance, ego, grandiosity. I'm not going to talk about to get me. Pride is like, I don't need to go down there. And fear is, I don't dare go down there. Like, I don't want to see what I truly am about, but I have to have trust in something. So the process is, it sets you up to have this higher power taken with you. You go with this, turn it over, turn it over, turn it over. Anybody sober, I could tell them what I did.
I love how you said they'll break it down to even 10, 15-minute increments.
Oh,
that's simple.
I'm telling you, there's days still.
Yeah.
And so my message is, I don't still struggle with the stuff of that, the darkness that comes in my head. I still struggle with it, but I'm so committed to the process that, like, all I want to do, like, think about, I told you about my past. I'm so upset. I don't give a shit about people. I walked on people, whatever. And you see me on Facebook. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to inspire people. I'm trying to motivate people. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to get business. I'm trying to do whatever. That's completely different than where I grew up. Completely.
How do you feel about her now? Because we're all a work in progress. I don't expect you to have all the answers, but how do you feel with, like, who you are when you look in the mirror?
Okay, so recently I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis. Like, I'm 61 now. And I'm not 40. And I was always very active, athletic, and I'm not able to do certain things I've done. I get caught up in the everyday sometimes, and I feel like I feel like I want to give, I see what else is out there for me. And I like running my own business because it teaches me I have to do certain things to stay in the right mind, because it always starts here. So I have come a long ways.
Yes, you certainly have.
But like, I go back to the saying is, if I treated others like I treated myself, and I'm probably the worst person I hear this from them. I'm probably the worst critic. Know that there's this thing in recovery, talk about having no resentments, is us drinking the poison, wishing someone would die. It's only hurting us. Yeah. And it could take me out, drink or use. I don't believe that for me. I believe resentment towards myself would take me out way before. I don't care about getting, like, I don't care about that. I have the place where I'm like, I don't really care what they think so much. I can get caught up in comparison, still can, social media, but ultimately I understand that I'm in competition with myself. How could I be better? How could I serve my clients better? How could I get better? What is it that I need to expand on? But I've always been the transparent guy that will go to somebody and go, dude, I need to expand on this. What do I do? So it's always a work in progress, but that's the beauty of it. Like, I'm always trying to stay, I like to call myself humble, but it's like, I'm always trying to be in those facts. Yeah. Staying teachable.
Don't you feel what you put out, you get back?
1000%.
Because I feel,
in bad ways and good ways.
It is. No, it's true, because, one thing I talk about in one of my very journey is that I was so out of touch with who I was. My Aki used to say to me all the time, she would go, today.
Oh my God. Did you say Aki?
Yeah. Yeah. Used to say to me all with her accent, she'd be like, today, know your worth. She used to say that to me all the time, know your worth. And,
self-worth.
Because I was together and I never understood that. I used to be like, I love her and she means well, but I never really understood what that meant. And so
Yeah.
what happened was I would be attracting shitbirds into my life because I was a shitbird, right?
Yes, correct.
I didn't know who I was. So I would have like this negative energy in me. And
Yeah.
I care because I thought it was cool and that's what I was supposed to do. And I worked in the music industry. And so I added no value,
Mm,
devalued it because I didn't know what my was. So do you like,
always goes back to that.
yeah, do you always feel like when you were going through your recovery, you've had to cut people out of your life?
1,000%.
And
Oh,
that's
of
what you
course.
have to do.
But
It's gotta
it's
be
having that
hard.
understand, like okay, let's go to my field. Remove myself from my family because
Mm-hmm.
they were so negative and so toxic for me.
Mm-hmm.
Going through the early stages of my toxic, I would fly to Phoenix from Vegas. God, I couldn't wait to get out of here because my dad and my brother would just battle. Now, let me say this: my brother's 2.5 years older.
Yep.
I don't have no idea where he is.
Okay.
So he's never got the deal. He's got lost, and that's
Okay.
another family, and it's a lot. But
Mm.
I had a thought, and I can't remember the thought of shucks.
I was talking about self-worth and having
Yeah,
to cut
self-worth.
people
So it always
out.
stems from that. When you have no self-worth, you don't trust in anything. You don't trust people, you don't trust yourself, you know what
No.
I mean? And like, how do you get that? And there's a saying, do acts. If you want to have self-esteem, do esteemable acts. Quit taking. Put your
Oh,
shopping
that's
cart.
amazing.
Oh,
That's an
that's an old
amazing.
saying. It's an old saying.
I've
Nice.
never heard that.
So just so you know, my middle name was Jack Off. Listen, Jack Off, I'm gonna do the, you know what I mean? I had a
Yeah.
tough love he had me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like him at that man passed away. He saved my life.
Yeah.
Saved my life for sure.
And you said is because you're so much more in touch with who you are. You can see that now.
Oh, woo, yeah, like the people I pray for, the people that's been like the recovery, during recovery, God put these people in my life. I couldn't see any of that shit. I just was like, where's mine? Mine, where's mine? Mine. And we have the instincts. An alcoholic or alcoholism, we run it to the gamut. We use it to the fourth dimension to feel better, look better, to feel like, doesn't matter who we hurt, who we want, doesn't matter. Doesn't mean we try not to. It's not like we try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is, but some of it's just like we need more. And we but like toxic to me. I didn't want to go there. Like it was always, and I tell people this. I removed myself from situations. If I stick around a barbershop long enough, I'm going to get a haircut, right? So
Right.
I would like be, and God bless my father, God bless my mom, you know what I mean? But it was toxic. They wanted to live a certain way, and I had to learn to remove myself. But the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, I buried my mom and dad because I'm capable of showing up today. This is what gets me emotional. And this is what's beautiful about my past, or any past when you get recovery. You know where you come from. So there's appreciation of like, I couldn't show up for anybody. And then here I am, like my sponsor says, you're the exact right person for the job. And I went and took care of parents. It wasn't pretty. I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
It was frustrating at times. There's beautiful stories. I was a hairstylist for 12 years. Here's one story. So my parents were here in Vegas. I had to go rescue them in New Mexico and drive through, like it was this whole thing, like all these God shots that I got, like being in the moment. Everything that I learned in AA, I normally don't mention AA, but everything I learned in AA was applied to the situation. All the skills, all the understandings, all the phone call, all of it was applied because I needed it and I needed to navigate through that. Mm-hmm. So I get them back here, they're in a home, and now I'm a hairstylist. So I go down to the place and pick my parents up, who now have dementia, so they think they act like children. My mom did, my dad not. And I'd go pick them up, and I'd go on a Monday, and I'd open up the salon, not my salon, but I'd open up the salon, and I'd go in there, and my mom was a redhead, colored. She was a redhead, but I mean, nice gray, and now I colored her. So I'd go mom's hair, and it would be sometimes aggravating. My mom, because she has red dye and she does still, so you got color everywhere, Then
like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and then I cut my hair and he's grumpy as shit. Whatever. Yeah. But when I'd finish, I cut his hair, finish my mom, and I'd blow dry my mom, and she'd smile, and my dad would smile, And I was like, right, and get that moment. But here's when I write, I say, thank you for the moments, because I appreciate and understand the moments. It's all about moments in life. It's all about, like, I would take a walk and stop and look at a tree. That's how I learned it. Not one tool. And I would look at a tree and I'd take a picture and I'd try to be in that moment. Instead of just hiking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, I'd like, stop. And guys, I'll finish that story, but I sit down with guys at Starbucks. I go, this is going on. This is going on. They go, what the hell? And they'd bring me back in the moment. And I'd sit with people and we'd go, right here, right now, we don't have a fucking problem. We're having coffee. Like, what really? Everything's a thing. I would complain about my dancing life. I'd work at 7 p.m. I'd get all the attention. I'd go to dinner and I'd get all the attention. You know what I mean? Like, my life is so horrible, because the dramatics and the victim and all that stuff, that's part of our nature. And we like, it's terrible. And I'd create these stories from events that happened as a kid. Most of it was true. Some of it was just fabricated. You know what I mean? So now I'm with my parents. And one time my mom would just, like, I told my mom I was going to get her a marijuana maintenance card because she needs to start smoking pot because she wouldn't relax. Mom, I'm going to get you a marijuana maintenance card. I can't take this. You got to relax. So I'm shampooing my mom. Sometimes I'd hit her with the water and she'd freak out, whatever, you know. And this time I'm shampooing my mom's head. I tell her all the time. And I go, Mom, how is that? She goes, oh, that feels so good. And I was like, right here, right now, this is why I do hair.
Yeah.
I remember I could tell you where I was with my mom. She's next to me, and I go, Mom, are you okay? And she looked at me and she goes, yeah, I'm good. And like the clouds parted. Like I was on the 95 freeway. I moments because I'm capable of being in it, and I don't want to miss it. I don't want a life because everything's this way. I gotta go.
There's so much noise, all the noise.
So much noise. So I was like, get into some of my, so my father. Do we have time? I don't know.
We have a few more minutes.
Oh God. Okay. So long story short. So I go to Texas. I'm with my dad. My dad's bedridden. He's at a home. I'm out of my mind. I don't know what I'm doing. I got this nursing home, that nursing home. My mom's in a lockdown facility because she's a wanderer, and my dad's bedridden. So my dad was bedridden for a year, and it drove me. It was like, this is terrible. What is this? And I remember talking to my father one time, and he's scared. I could see he's scared. And I didn't own his pain. I was the vessel of peace. Like, it was crazy. Like, I felt this peace come over to give to him. And I'm probably about 15 years sober, 16 years sober, whatever, 16. And I remember just looking at my father and dad. I go, Dad, it's going to be okay. I got Mom. Don't worry about it. And humility. I understood that's God I was just a vessel. Like, I don't think me, I'm a man. I'm like, God gave me that gift. And I was very peaceful with my dad. And when my dad died, I was in Seattle. I couldn't get to him. I was doing a training thing. And my brother took a picture of him, sent it to me. And I said, don't leave him, please. And he left him. He's incapable. My dad died by himself. Now I could go, I used to get so angry at my brother, and I just go, he's incapable. Now my mom, so let me talk about this. So my mom, so this is a couple years later, my mom's dementia, long story short, so the caretaker calls me, I'm driving, and I could hear her voice different. And I go, do I need to pull over? And she goes, yeah, can you pull over? She goes, your mom's declining fast. Teenager boy, what are you talking about? Immediate teenager boy. And I had to go into the mode. And so I said, how much time? She goes, I don't know, man, not even a week. And I go, what are you talking, what? So, all right. The very next morning, they're 2 hours ahead. So my phone up, and I see the phone, like, I don't even know. I knew when my mom was gone. I got on my knees, said my prayers, made my bed, got my coffee, got my dog, went to the park, sat down on the park bench, and then I called. That's what you call intuitiveness. I have a routine I do, and I want to be right in the right mind before I take that phone call and talk about my mom. Then I wept, and I called my guys that are programmed. Hey, man, my mom passed. Do you need anything right now? I said, no, man, I'm okay. Okay, let us know. There wasn't like drama to it. There was no. And I said, as the adult, and I cried, and I grieved. So that may not be a big thing to anybody. That's a big deal to me because I was always that teenager boy emotional. Okay, so that's the beauty. And it was from practicing that morning over and over and over and over. I will say this on this podcast, I prayed one day in 29 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm not boasting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not, it's like, I
No,
don't
it's a
know.
gift.
I don't know how that, I'm
Yeah.
afraid not to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. Be afraid not to, because
Yeah.
and I feel like
Healthy fear.
like you're so I know you before, but you're intelligent now
Oh, thank you.
because you've done you do so
It's
much
just, yeah.
learning, like you said, and you're constantly learning and I know you share a
Breathing
lot.
is huge. So I want to say this
What
because
did
I
you
want to get
say?
some stuff. Breathing is huge. So I want to
Yes,
say
my
this.
breath work is
Simple,
very
right? Simple things done over time create big results. They're so simple, people overlook them, but they
yes,
make sense. They do
yes.
things. Prayer, meditation, breathing. Those things make sense. And there's so much to talk about,
And
but I
they
mean, I know you.
work, but I think it's overwhelming for people. Like I started my meditation journey 5 years ago, taken me like catapulted my healing. And I've gotten so in touch who I am. What do you say now? Because, obviously what would you say to five
Oh my
gymnasts
God, that's
if
so
you
deep. That's
could
such a deep
coach
subject.
that person, that child?
It's a deep subject because
It
I've
is.
been through it, and I
Yeah,
just like I think because I saw that question, I was like,
I know.
I just want to go. It's gonna be. I
Yeah.
got you because I didn't get there was a beat on me.
Do you think that child could have been their authentic self if they had the support? Because back then people didn't talk about feelings.
I was so look. It's my story. I was way differently. I
Mhm.
didn't. It wasn't. My dad physically abused us, but it wasn't out in the street and under like none of
Yeah.
that happened. The child in me, like I do therapy and shit, like years later, it's not good. Like a lot of people, and I like talk.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk details, but I will say that when I saw that question, it's just like, it's gonna be okay. I got you. You're gonna be a child. Be a child. Unfortunately, so many people get from them their child life taken from them because of abuse and trauma. And it's fucking sad. So I have incidences and then I have long-term trauma, like things that's happened over time.
Mhm.
Not even aware of it. I got into therapy. Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, I talk to you.
There's so much. Yeah.
Just in general, because you're so in,
Ugh. I don't, yeah. I
you're a
just think
wealth of knowledge. You've done the work, you're journaling and you're constantly reading. And I mean, I almost feel like to have another you down the road,
I
maybe
would love
schedule
it.
something to
There's
dig
other
a little
things that, yeah,
deeper.
talk about, because there's other things, obviously, not enough time to go into that I
Yeah.
feel that might help somebody or service somebody or have you have a better understanding. But that's, so where I'm at today, like, dancing a different type of ability, a different way. Like it gave me cognitive function and breathing and posture and movement. That stuff is important. And it kept me young and all these things were great. So, and then I retired and then I got into hair and I learned practical skills from the hair business and all these things to get me to where I'm at today to be a better trainer. So
Mm-hmm.
it just was all there. God is always, and I love to talk about my people that I pray about and why they were sent into my life. Like
Yeah.
the teaching me spirituality. We didn't even touch on that. Like,
Yeah.
and I got to understand these spiritual words and understanding of like these families that were put in my life were trying to teach me. And I realized God never left me. I left God. You know what I mean? Like,
And you left yourself.
left myself. I'm still
Yeah.
discovering. So
I think many people are going to be able to you because I think, it's just you've done everything. You've had a great big life. You've been on the big success personally, with your career and you've done different things, but now on the spiritual journey and you're so much, you're grounded now and you look back and you're all of that. Like you said, you're thankful for your parents. Now you understand,
they did the best they knew how. Is that like we always go?
yeah.
My father said one time to me, a very opinionated man, he said to me, I never had a father. Like I didn't even know my parents' background. Like I never even thought of asking, let alone them telling. That's self-centeredness.
They don't talk. Well, they didn't talk about it
Yeah.
either.
So yeah, my father did the best he knew how. I hate him for a long time, and I don't today. I let all that go. So.
I guess to all up, take small doses, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes at a time. Just find one said, whether it's starting to write or pray or,
So can I say, so I was like, if you, one day at a time, do one thing, add one thing in a positive matter to your life today. One thing. And we want to go 10 things.
Yeah.
I owe 10,000. So I'm going to get 10 grand to pay it back. It's that kind of thing. Like, no, you're going to, But you're going to add to your life,
Yeah.
and try to practice being in the moment. I can't meditate. Well, I mean, everybody says that.
It's called meditation practice for
Right,
I have good. I
don't
have
do
good.
it.
I meditate every day. I have good sessions and ones that really suck.
I can tell where I'm at by my meditation focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or if it's resonating with you, or if you're distracted. That's why it's called.
I do it for a couple of reasons. Parasympathetic.
Mhm.
I want to be in parasympathetic state,
Mhm.
and I want to learn to stay focused on present with you, present with my clients, present with myself, blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah.
and get a dog. That
Does get a
totally.
Yeah.
Dog is God spelled backwards, they say.
It is. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. You, my friend, are a trauma rock star.
Thank you. Trauma rock star.
Yeah, you are.
I made that.
You did. And it's an honor having you on this and being so vulnerable. And I really, really appreciate it. And it's nice to finally formally meet.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
The content on this podcast revolves around personal life and is meant to serve as a learning tool. I am not a certified therapist or medical expert. This podcast doesn't offer medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're curious about your mental or physical well-being, feel free to reach out to a licensed healthcare professional for assistance.